What's up, fellow Vanguard nerds? I'm Babblerab, and this is the second deck of the new Batama decks that I'll be posting on the whatever date is. Probably the 21st? Let's say the 21st. So, we got the Dominate deck out of the way, now we got the hand control deck. With the addition of Zanki, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant about talking about Zanki and what it does for this deck. The heal trigger makes the deck like way more streamlined and allows you to just go nuts with your counterblast. You don't care as much as you used to. Like the old version of this deck when Reckless Rampage was out was like you were banking on those unflipping PGs to keep you alive, and you were getting like Sukumorgan off once, and that was your closer, or that was your game closer. With this, you can like just drop Sukumorgan and not really give a care. So yeah, here's the updated build. As you can see, we still run Rene because it's kind of the best card. So, possibly 2 starters, but not really ever used as a starter. So we got Kuroko as our technical starter. I have like 4 of this guy. I kind of want to try running 2 just to be a dick. So Kuroko pressures the early game because I am running Metsu and I am running Fuki, which is basically I go after your hand, I go after your rear guards, and then basically turns half my deck into now I hit, you lose anything in your binds on. And then Kamajugusa is just an extra little bit of unflip, but with the amount of unflip that's happening, I kind of could just run a second Kuroko since she has a huge target on her head most of the time. But Kamajugusa still has use in the deck because it does unflip damage and I don't have to hit anything to put the card into the drop zone, so that is nice. However, like I said, running 2 Kurokos might be a better decision for this deck. Both are still really good though. And we got 4 of the new heal. Yeah, pretty obvious here. Unlike the Dominate deck, this is just a 12 crit deck because I want to get you up to, or want to get my opponent up to 5 damage as quickly as possible so that when I'm going after their hand, it starts getting a little more devastating for them. Again, because this is a Shiranui based deck, ideally you want to run Noroi. So, there's that. I have 5, I need 8. But other than that, this deck's mostly complete. So yeah, 4 Noroi, 4 Unflipping crit, and then pick your 4 favorite other crits. That's just my opinion. I think that's 12 crits the way to go for this. And then we're playing 3 Strat Enabler and 4 of the Unflipping PG. This deck is really counterblast heavy compared to Dominate, and it doesn't have as many ways to unflip damage. Hence why I'm still keeping the Kamajugusa. Hence why I've moved my Unflippers to this deck from Dominate. But like I said again, if you want to run this in your Dominate deck, do it. Again, down to personal preference. Yeah, not too much to say about that. Nothing's really changed. For Fuki, this is how you're taking cards out of your opponent's hand, or one way anyway. And again, that just makes half of your deck come online, which is kind of why I want to run a second Kuroko, because if I lose my first Kuroko, I still can do stuff with the Fuki. And then we got 2 Dreadmaster. I do actually want to try to figure out how to bump this guy up to 3, possibly maybe cut a Voidmaster to play 3 Dreadmaster, just because I can put him behind any rearguard at all and then have on-hit pressure. But yeah, this is your part of your pressure engine pretty much, and it's great. And then the grade 2s are 4 OG Tamahagane, 3 Miyabi, and 4 Gitamaru. So these are early game once again, and then this guy is when you start getting to GB, and he's really solid. Again, like that's kind of why I want to switch to more Kurokos. So yeah, not really too much explanation to do here since I've posted this several times. So yeah, this is where the biggest bit of explanation is going to be. So ideally we're running 4 Zanki. I don't have 4 Zanki. I need to get 1 more Zanki for this deck, so we're still running the OG Shiranui, but you want to have 4. The reason, my mentality is that original Shiranui will take a card out of your opponent's hand, guaranteed, and he will bind 1 rearguard. That's fine, I don't mind that. Here's the thing with the Zanki. As soon as I ride him, I'm dominating a unit. That's possibly 1 card out of my opponent's hand. As soon as I stride, I'm dominating another unit. That's possibly a 2nd card out of my opponent's hand. Or, you know, if we're saying we ride stride. So that's that. And then at the start of my ride phase, I'm soul blasting. I'm drawing a card which gives this deck hand advantage, something it really needs. And then I'm taking a card out of my opponent's hand that I can then use for dominating when I'm doing my hand control strides. So Shiranui's okay, but I think Zanki is the optimal choice here because it has the potential to take 2 cards of the opponent's hand and net me a card from my deck, which allows me to gain more hand advantage, obviously, versus just the 1 that Shiranui gets. Shiranui original does have a little more synergy with Kuroko and Gitamaru because it does bind things, but I've still got stuff like Fuki, Miyabi, and some of my strides that allow me to still take cards out of my opponent's hand. Hence why I think Zanki is the better choice in this case, because I take 2 cards of the hand. Every single one of my stride becomes a dominated unit attack in addition to taking cards out of my opponent's hand, so that's an extra attack that I get for free. So that's kind of my mentality with Zanki. I think it's actually the best choice for this deck right now. And then again, I can make the argument I think it's the best choice for all Shiranui decks based on that mentality, but yeah. And then, of course, still got the best secondary card ever because, yes, we run the 4 Voidmaster, which possibly could come down to 3 to put another Dreadmaster in the deck, but yeah. Voidmaster, phenomenal card. Wait. Cool, if I have more cards than my opponent, he's a 12k attacker. Didn't even know that. So yeah, if you're doing Sukumoric and things, and you're not throwing your entire hand on the board, he becomes 12k attacker, which is nice. And then, again, once again, with Dreadmaster, Voidmaster, Agitamaru, Fuki, Miyabi, well, not so much Miyabi, but Agitamaru, Dreadmaster, Voidmaster, some of the strides in the deck, it's quite literally a case of you're losing a card from your hand if I hit, and you're losing a card from your hand if you guard. Pick which one you want. It's solid, and I love it. It's not that, again, this isn't like the most competitive Nubatama deck, but like when it gets rolling or if it gets its early game off, it's just so much fun to play. So, yeah. We move on to the G-Zone. Oh, look. 4 Renes. You're not going to be going into this guy as frequently as you would be in... who am I kidding? You're going to be going into this guy probably a lot, because first stride, he'll take 2 cards of the opponent's hand, and that reduces their hand size again. Then if you got Voidmasters and Dreadmasters swinging, they have like -2 cards. We'll assume that you had Zanki's effect off, so -3 cards from their hand before we even start attacking. And then you're still getting 5 attacks, 6 attacks off 1 Zanki, 2 Rene, Voidmaster, Dreadmaster. So they're probably going to be guarding the 2 crit 10k attacks, which means that when Dreadmaster and Voidmaster connect, guess what? They're gonna be losing cards from their hand anyway. So Rene is just like great. It's just like the best card. Which kind of begs the question, why even bother running this for first stride anymore? When it attacks a Vanguard, if the number of cards in your hand... So, this guy works with the Kuroko plays and the... Like, he works with Kuroko and Agitamaru. And it was usually my first stride, but I'm seriously considering just saying heck with it and just just going Rene all the time now. Which is kind of ripped. But, yeah. Snipe card out of the opponent's hand face down. I think they choose, but they get it back at the end of the turn. It's costless though, so it means that if you're still running Kamajagusa, you can get that back. So that's not bad. Then we are going and running 2 Togolord. I'm questioning the effectiveness of this guy now. Like, he'll take a card of the opponent's hand and it gets critical when the opponent has no cards in hand. So if they're off balance, this guy will end the game. No questions asked. But I need to playtest more in this, and B, I need to stop like saying, oh, Rene can just do everything. Because unfortunately, Rene kind of can just do everything. They really outdid themselves when they made Rene. He can't do this, though. Your opponent has built up a huge nest of cards somehow because they're really, really good at this game and somehow don't get their butts kicked by Rene. So you're just like, okay, you have 16 cards, you have 4 now. And then you dominate one of their units? Oh my god, so good. So they'll have 17 cards in hand, and then you take one out, so it goes to 16 because of Zanki. And then you have another card in your hand. And then Sukumorican's like, lol, you have 4. And then Zanki's like, no. I'm attacking with one of your units. So now you possibly have 3. And then you do stuff with Miyabi and everything else, and they have no cards. Like, this guy was like the original finisher when I was playing Nubatama before Dominate actually showed up. And for like a certain amount of time, I would just blindly still go into this guy because he was so good. Sadly, I mean, he's still a great card. It's just, there's a lot of other stuff that Nubatama can do now, unfortunately. Shiranui Rene. Makuro, opponent's got a big board. It doesn't directly take cards out of the opponent's hand, but when you think about it, if they have to invest 5 more rear guards, or 5 more cards from their hand next turn to replenish all the rear guards you just finished nuking, it's great. Plus it gets you 5 drive checks. So, it's good. And again, like, if your opponent's overcommitting to the board, you just punish them with Makuro. And this guy should be pretty obvious because you're playing hand control and then he's kind of your finisher. In this deck, I could see possible use for Drachma, actually. Because if you're already if you're spending your entire game saying, okay, I'm going to just go after your hand, and then you go for a Drachma, they may not have any cards left in their hand to actually do anything about the Drachma play. So I could see possible use for Drachma in this deck as opposed to Dominate, which Dominate doesn't care about Drachma in my mind. So this could possibly run Drachma, no questions asked, which means I probably would cut you for a Drachma, either a G-Guard or a Sabreeze, I think. But yeah, that would actually... Drachma would be very interesting to try in this deck. And then G-Guard, 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 G-Guard. Possibly run 2 Zakichi Hime since you're already going after your opponent's hand anyway, and that they have less cards in their hand coming into it. Sad face. But this deck, I have other G-Guards hidden somewhere in my collection of cards. I don't remember where they are, so we're going to just go with these G-Guards. You probably want to run the one copy of the Anabadoshi, however it's pronounced. Possibly even cut this guy since you're going after their hand directly as opposed to just doing Dominate stuff. But yeah, so again, since I made this deck, it's just been a blast to play. It's a very unique play style. Not unique, it's typical old school Nubatama play style, which is the best play style. I like going right after my opponent's central lifeline. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to make them sad, and when this deck, like I said, when this deck gets rolling, it's got a great early game. Anyway, so that is the end of the 2 Nubatama decks. Again, if you have any questions about it or any suggestions, definitely leave them in the comments section below. Probably should have said that at the end of the Dominate video, but whatever. So yeah, Hand Control and Dominate both recorded. I can't wait to see what they're going to get in the new Imaginary Gift format. The funny part is, considering that Voidmaster was actually the first Nubatama Grade 3 that was revealed, I could see this guy getting a retrain, which would be the best thing ever to see what retrain Voidmaster gets, which means possibly I could be cutting OG Voidmaster from this deck if new Voidmaster has a better skill. But until then, we're going to still run OG Voidmaster, and it's going to still be a Shiranui focused deck. So, like I said, any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And other than that, I will see you guys probably when I start posting Bermuda Triangle videos when the new set comes out. So, I leave with the Dominate deck and the Hand Control deck. Peace.